Seems to me one of the cases the governor there is making as we're awaiting for her to make this official announcement is how it's this case that a lot of folks have made, which is if you want people to trust the advice of scientists, of physicians, then back off when we have these positivity rates dipping below a certain percentage point, and then ramp it up, right, when we hit these surge points. Do you see that as a good way forward, especially as we enter, it seems, this, as some people would argue, endemic phase in the spring?
So everything that the governor has presented, all of that data does point to an optimistic turn of events. We know that the peak numbers have decreased, but in the Northeast, we are still in a risk stage. We have cold temperatures, people indoors, and particularly in New York City, a high population density. So now is too premature, though perhaps a month from now it would be something to consider as temperatures warm up and more people are outside. At this time, though, it is much too early to remove masks.
So what do you say to people then, Dr. Nerurkar, as they're hearing this guidance from so many of the leaders in their states, from governors across the country now? You're seeing positivity rates dipping. People are exhausted, to be honest, putting those masks on every single day. For folks especially that are vaccinated, feeling like they've taken all of the precautions they've been asked to take. What do you say to them when their governors are saying, well, you know what, you can take them off now?
I sympathize with them because I, too, am frustrated and I want this pandemic to end as well. In Massachusetts, we're seeing similar things like we're seeing in New York. But unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that Omicron continues. We have potentially a new strain. And if we are to remove mask mandates, as many of these governors are suggesting, what is the contingency plan? We need a contingency plan that is proactive and not reactive. We will see a rise in cases with the removal of mask mandates.
What should the contingency plan be then in that respect?
That is something that we hope that the CDC and for children, the American Academy of Pediatrics can comment on. And I think that's what they're going to be discussing at the White House briefing.
Yeah, I think one of the outliers, especially for someone like me, a parent of a young child, Dr. Nerurkar, is the fact that my 3-year-old is not yet vaccinated, right? And we're awaiting the decision from the FDA and the CDC on that. We know they're going to be reviewing that in just the next couple of days, an emergency use authorization for children under the age of 5 to get vaccinated, of course, having to look at some of the findings from those studies. Will that change the game if that portion of the population, young kids, are then able to get vaccinated?
So, Yasmin, I'm in the same boat, having children who are under the age of 5, and that is my biggest concern. Until we give every child and every family the opportunity to get vaccinated, removing mask mandates in the community, in the schools, is too premature. We also, as part of the contingency plan, need to focus on increasing vaccinations. New York has an excellent vaccination rate for adults, 75%, but it lags in the vaccination for kids age 5 to 11. Only 30% of kids are vaccinated in New York, and that is across the board, across the U.S. So we must do more to vaccinate all sectors of the population, adults, the vulnerable, children, and youngest children, as it pertains to you and me and millions of other families.
All right, Emily Ikeda, Dr. Nerurkar, we appreciate you sticking with us through this. We are continuing to monitor the press conference here in New York State of Governor Kathy Hochul making this major announcement here for New York State, wanting to lift the mask mandates across the state, but keeping school children masked for the next few weeks. We're going to watch this and bring you the news as it develops. For now, thank you guys. Appreciate it.